Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Transform Your Life podcast. Have you ever cleared a room on a Saturday and by Thursday, the piles are back? If bins fixed the problem, you'd be done by now, right? So today I'm sharing why clutter returns, how it shows up, the difference between situational and chronic clutter, and the link between mental, emotional, and physical clutter. And if this clicks, I'm hosting a free masterclass called The Hidden Reasons You Can't Stay Clutter Free on October 2nd from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't attend at that time, sign up anyways, and I will send you a replay link to watch within the 7 days. You'll also get my worksheet, and we'll do this together live. So click the link in the show notes to save a seat, and let's dive into today's episode. So I'm Cass Henry. I'm a professional home organizer for the last 9 years, and I'm turned a transformation coach. Because what I've noticed is there is a connection between external and internal clutter. And throughout my years of being a home organizer, I realized that that gap needs to be linked together so that I can help my clients create lasting change internally and externally. And so that's what I do. And that's what I talk about here on the podcast. So around here, we don't just talk about the physical stuff, okay? And we don't start with the physical stuff all the time. We change the pattern that keeps creating it so the calm you create actually sticks. The result you create actually stick. And it's really cool because we get to look at clutter and we get to ask it questions. Why are you here? How did you get here? Why do you keep showing up? Why does it make me feel so overwhelmed? Why do I keep bringing more stuff in the house when I say I want a clean, tidy, clutter-free home? So our clutter is talking to us, and that's what I help people do, is to figure out what your clutter is saying. So clutter rarely starts as mess, right? It starts as a solution. That stack of mail on the counter, it's helping you avoid a decision. Now, this might sound odd or weird or confusing, but stick with me, okay? That bag of to donate clothes, it's holding hope for a future version of you, right? If you put in clothes in there that no longer fit you, but you hope that they will fit you one day again, you might linger on dropping them off to the donation center because a part of you is like, but they might actually fit, so maybe I'll just put them in the bag for now and shove it in a closet. And hopefully one day they'll fit again, okay? These are patterns with jobs, okay? So a few ways clutter shows up, and I had a little bit of help from ChatGPT to come up with some fun names. And if you start using these names and these references around your home, please let me know what sticks for you. So number one, parking lots. So these are your counters, your desk, your stairs. The parking lots are places where things rest because you'll deal with them later. They're parking lots for your stuff. Number two are buffer bags and boxes. I do not like these, and anytime a client of mine is like, oh, just put this stuff in the bag, or this is what this bin is for, what this bowl is for, just the drop all. I'm like, oh gosh, please don't do that. However, if it works for them, which it typically doesn't, but it's, I don't know, there's an illusion that it works. These buffer bags and boxes, it's maybe the tote by the door, the basket on the stairs, they collect decisions that you didn't make. Or they're items that it's like, exactly so. They are items that you're like, I don't really know what to do with this. It's taking up too much mental power, so I'm just going to put it here for now. And then automatically you don't need to continue trying to make that decision. You see, every single item that we have in our home is one more decision we have to make. And we're bombarded by needing to make decisions in a single day. What to wear the moment we wake up? What are we going to do with our day? Where do we have to go? What are we going to wear? What are we going to eat? All of these things are decisions we have to make. Even little micro decisions that we constantly have to make, such as when the light starts to turn yellow, are you going to slow down or are you going to speed up so you can go through the light and it's yellow? That's just one example. When you're picking out a pen to use, am I going to use a black pen or am I going to use a blue pen? These are all micro decisions that we have to make and get to make every single day of our lives. And no wonder why we get exhausted when we're trying to make decisions around our stuff. That's why less is best, okay? Number three, fantasy self items. These are hobby supplies, too small clothing, aspirational books. It's evidence of who you wish you were, or who you once were, or who you hope to become. Fantasy self, the items that you hope to use one day, but if you're being totally honest with yourself, you probably won't. Okay. I'm very honest with my clients because I want you to reach your goal. It's as simple as that. So whether I'm working with you one to one before we even tackle the clutter or before you tackle the clutter on your own, because oftentimes when we can work on the internal clutter and I prep you enough, then tackling the external clutter is so much easier than you would have ever imagined had we start vice versa. So we also have the just in case duplicates, the backups that cost space, time, and attention. It's that laptop that you still need to take the items off before you can donate it. Maybe it's that toaster that you bought a new one, but just in case this one breaks down, it's the extra coffee machine. If you ever have so many people in your house that you need an extra coffee machine, I doubt it, but um my clients oftentimes have a reason for keeping everything. I will call you out on your stories if your goal is not lining up with your stories. We also have nostalgia stashes, okay? It's sentimental items stored out of oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, but sometimes these nostalgia items are kept out of guilt. Oh, that's a heirloom. And although I don't like it or love it at all, I feel bad and I feel guilty and I feel like I have to keep it. Well, says who? Okay? Says who? Nostalgia. Oh, I feel bad getting rid of my kids' schoolwork because they worked really hard on it. Okay, that's what you do when you go to school. You work hard to complete a task. It doesn't mean you have to keep it forever. So when my clients say, oh, I have to keep this because that's guilt, okay? Not because they want to. So what I do is I question, oh, what's coming up for you? What do you mean? Because you have to, or because you should, or because you feel like you have to. Again, that word is coming up. It's not, I want to, I would love to. Even the need to, have to, must. It doesn't sound like it's, oh my gosh, I love this so much. I really want to keep it. Oftentimes it doesn't come down to that. Okay. So that might be coming up for you. And then out of sight zones like drawers and closets you avoid, or maybe even entire full floors of your house or bedrooms. Your brain still tracks these though as unfinished projects. So even if you're laying in bed at night, oftentimes my clients will say, even though my basement, I don't go down there, it keeps me up at night because I know how much stuff is down there and how I have to tackle it. Or a storage unit that you're paying for month after month. And you're like, oh my gosh, like there's so much stuff in it that I have to go through. It's costing me money, but I don't like the whole process is overwhelming. I don't want to go and face it. And so that's costing you your mental peace. That's costing you money. You're just delaying it. And the longer you delay it, the longer it costs you your peace, the longer it costs you your money. Just some food for thought. And this goes for anything. If anything is causing you your peace or money or your time, it's gotta go. Now, yes, tackling these spaces can feel overwhelming. The most common subject line that I've received in the last 9 years of being a professional home organizer and a transformation coach is help. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Great. I just happen to be very good at helping you know where to start because I'm not in your space. When I'm in my own space, I sometimes feel that way too. You know what helps is just starting. And even, especially for someone with ADHD, like what I have, and a lot of my clients have, set a timer for 5 minutes, not 20, not 30, not an hour, because I guarantee you, you will get distracted. 5 minutes and say, I'm going to open up this drawer. I'm going to focus on this for 5 minutes. And when the 5 minute mark is up, you can either run it again or you can stop the task, whatever, but just focus on getting rid of stuff. Do I use this? Yes or no? And use your immediate gut decision and then act on that. Okay. You don't need to hum and haw over it. Okay. So if you recognize any of these in yourself, that's great because awareness is everything. Your brain is trying to protect you from overwhelm, uncertainty, or discomfort. That's why you may not be facing these things and having to face these decisions. if it causes you overwhelm, if you don't know what to do, if it's causing you upset or whatever it may be, your brain might say, not yet. Don't do it yet. Now, my question to you is that protection still serving you? Well, I would argue no. You might argue yes. But if you're listening to this podcast, odds are you would agree in that the protection of your brain in the realm of your clutter, it's not helping you. So I want to take a moment and talk about situational versus chronic clutter. And let's separate the two differences, okay? Because they are very different. Situational clutter, it's tied to a season or circumstance. A new baby, an illness, a move, a busy launch if you have in your business or career, a hard season in a relationship, grief. So your systems might be fine. The systems that you've created in your space to keep up with, they might be fine. Your capacity for putting things back to where they belong may not be fine. Okay. We can only handle so much when we are in survival mode, which an illness, a baby, a grief, a move, all of that puts us in survival mode. So, clues, it's situational clutter. Number one, things get messy suddenly. Number two, you can pinpoint to a cause. You might look around your house. This happened to me recently. We're trying to find a new place to live. Business has been crazy. I'm navigating these two businesses. Single motherhood, all of the things. It's a lot. Okay. So when I would look around, I'd be like, oh, wow, my space is really showing this situational clutter right now. And I need to get on top of it because as I get on top of it, it kind of works in a positive ripple effect. And sometimes even just by clearing out your refrigerator can help to create the ball and the momentum moving. So clues at situational clutter, things get messy suddenly. You can pinpoint it to a cause. When life steadies, the clutter kind of calms down, right? So when these kind of things, maybe time passes or you're moving through it with a coach or a friend or a therapist, or just time goes on and it's like you can breathe again, you might notice that the clutter clears up because you get that energy and that momentum and that focus back. Clues that it's chronicle clutter is it's cyclical, okay? You tidy and it returns. You buy bins, labels, and checklists, and the loop just resets itself. The clutter is constantly there. So, if it's chronic clutter, you might have recurring hotspots, like those parking spots that I mentioned on a surface or on your stairs or on the floor, wherever it may be. If they constantly, all the time, regardless of the season of life, if they're constantly cluttered, it's probably chronic clutter. If you constantly say, I'll put it here from now, if that sounds like a soundtrack in your mind, then it's time to interrupt that. And it's probably leading to your chronic clutter. And you feel decision fatigue even thinking about it. It's probably causing to that clutter building up. If your clutter has been there for, I want to say, if items have been in that area for more than 3 months, I'm going to call it chronic clutter. Okay. Sometimes people with clutter have been there for years or even decades. And this is not me judging you. And this is not for you to shame yourself or blame yourself. It's simply an opportunity to be like, okay, well, now what am I going to do about it? So if yours is situational, the focus is gentle capacity tools like short resets, like I mentioned, 5 minutes, or even starting with the refrigerator, something that is really easy. Permission to lower the bar, not having to keep your house perfect in seasons that are really difficult, and asking for help. Okay. If it's chronic clutter, we go deeper and we got to ask ourselves, what pattern is your clutter running? And that's what we're going to get into during the masterclass that I'm hosting. Again, click the link in the show notes to sign up. It's going to be really, really great for you. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the rest of this episode as well. So there's often a mind, emotion, and body link when it comes to clutter. Physical clutter is a visible tip of mental and emotional clutter, okay? So when you have clutter in your space, like I mentioned, oftentimes, especially when it's situational clutter, it's because something in your life is rocky and it's causing, piles to build up. Oftentimes, these places happen in the kitchen, maybe in your bedroom, maybe areas don't get a regular clean, such as like your bathrooms. Maybe things get piled up and put into the basement or in closets just to get it out of the way. You might have some areas that stay spotless, and you know that no matter what season you're in, it has to stay that way for your mental health. But sometimes, if it's really bad, those areas might kind of become undone as well. So, let's talk about mental load. Sometimes people say, I should be able to handle this, but I don't have the time. I should handle this now, but I don't have the time. It's the should do it and should be able to do it. And this, the brain flags the piles as an open tab in your mind. Okay. If you look at it and you're like, oh crap, I got to do that, but I don't have the time right now, it's going to create a new tab in your mind saying, we got to do that. Imagine how many tabs are open in your mind of the, oh crap, I got to do that still. No wonder why you maybe toss and turn at night, or you can't fall asleep, or you wake up feeling tired, or you're always exhausted no matter, like, even if you sit down for the whole day and you do nothing, your brain is going through those loops of we gotta do these things. Number two is the emotional load, the anxiety, the shame, the resentment, and the grief. It it leads to numbing, it leads to avoiding, and it leads to seeking relief. Relief can come in the form of shopping, can come in the form of drinking, can come in the form of drugs and alcohol. It can come in the form of eating food. Whatever it may be, we avoid, numb, and seek relief when we are carrying emotional shame, resentment, and grief around the clutter, internal and external. And of course, the body load. Tired, wired, achy, and you have poor sleep, like I mentioned, which leads to less capacity to be able to deal with things because at this point, you're probably just in survival mode, and that causes even more piles to build up. And they compound. It's kind of like concrete, okay? Let's say you pour a very, very thin layer of concrete on the ground. It's very easy to step on that very, very thin layer of concrete and break it up and crumble it into little pieces, and you can clean that up. But imagine you pour one layer after another, after another, after another. It's like, oh my gosh, that is so solid. That's going to be really hard to break. Doesn't mean it's impossible because there are machines obviously that can break them. Just like you can get to the point of, I call it the effort phase of, I can't do it anymore. Screw it. Like everything has to go. Now, obviously, people want to throw everything out, but getting into the effort phase is great because although you don't want to get into a space of you're feeling so overwhelmed and maybe even depressed or anxious or burnt out that you're like, just get rid of it. However, when you do get to, or if you do get to that state, it can be very helpful to help you move through. Now, once you get rid of the stuff, you have to then address what caused it in the first place, or else it will reoccur again. Kind of like if you gain a lot of weight and you're like, something has to change and you're going to lose all of the weight will return if you don't address how it got there in the first place. Kind of like debt, same situation. All of these things that you get to a point, you're like, holy crap, what has happened? You get rid of the problem, but it wasn't actually the problem. It was just a symptom of a bigger problem. I hope that makes sense. So we go around and around with mental, emotional, and body load, okay? Especially for people with ADHD and who are highly sensitive, they feel this even more. More sensory input, faster decision fatigue, which is why we use brain friendly tools, not perfection rules, okay? Brain friendly tools, not perfection rules. In fact, there's nothing, perfection cannot be achieved anyways. However, ADHD and highly sensitive people do try and achieve it, which leads to burnout, avoidance, numbing, and seeking relief even more. So, when it comes to clutter, clutter is not a character flaw, okay? It's a pattern in oftentimes has a payoff, of relief, hope, postponement. Okay. If you notice that you have to do something and you're like, oh, I'll do it after, that gives you relief. That gives you instant relief. That is a payoff. If you're like, okay, again, back to the clothes, well, I might fit in these again. You're feeling hopeful, you'll keep the items. That's a payoff of hope. When we replace the pattern, the piles start to lose power. And that's kind of what happens when people get into the effort phase. However, they haven't actually looked at the pattern. They kind of just bypass that, which is why I'm saying, even if you get to the point, it's really important to ask yourself how it got there in the first place, or else it will return. So let's do a little exercise, shall we? I'm going to invite you to map your loop. So grab a pen or just think this through. Feel free to pause the episode if you need to and pick just one loud hotspot. What I mean is one area in your home that feels overwhelming, that feels really cluttered, and you're just like, oh my God, I need to deal with that. Okay. Okay. Number one, trigger. When I say the number, you can go ahead and write them down. Trigger. What happens right before the pile grows? Let's say you walk in with mail, and it's the end of the day, and you're having maybe a tense conversation. What are you gonna do with it? So you're walking with the mail, maybe it's the end of the day, and a tense conversation is happening. Leads you to putting the mail on the counter, right? The trigger could be anything. So ask yourself, what happens right before the pile grows? Essentially, what happens that is causing you to say, I'll just put it here for now? Okay. Ask yourself, what happens? Number two, a feeling. What emotion is showing up once that trigger is happening? Is it overwhelm? Is it fatigue, feeling tired? Is it resentment? Is it shame? What is it? Sometimes when people go out and buy new stuff or accumulate new stuff and they feel shame about it, they'll get home, and as soon as they get home, they'll hide it somewhere. They probably didn't even need it. In fact, odds are they didn't, but it was to seek relief. So they might shove it in a closet. They might put it in the basement. They might shove it in a drawer, whatever it is. They might shove it because they feel shame. And that's the feeling. Okay. Maybe as soon as you get home from a trip, you're feeling tired. You just put everything down for now without dealing with it. And it could be days, weeks, or even months before you do anything about it. This is actually interesting because I see this a lot with clients after Christmas. Christmas comes, they accumulate all of these gifts, whether it's adults or even children, and the gifts just sit in piles for weeks. I've even seen people have piles of gifts there a year later. And again, this is not shaming you. It's a great opportunity to ask yourself, why are we even buying each other gifts if we don't even need them? It's that dopamine hit of, oh, feels really good to buy stuff for someone, to watch them open it, and vice versa, to receive and to open it. Anyways, what feeling shows up for you? What is a thought that comes through in your mind? The quick story, okay? Often I'll deal with this later. I can't handle this right now. I'll just put it here for now. What is the internal dialogue that's going in your mind when you have that feeling? And then it triggers a thought. A lot of people, too, have resentment towards the partners that they are living with. The internal dialogue might be like, screw him. If he's not going to pick up his shoes, then I'm not going to put away my stuff. Or if you're upset with your kids, I'm sick and tired of this. I give up. I don't care anymore. You close the door and you don't want to look at the mess. Resentment, emotions can cause you to have internal dialogue, whether you're aware of it or not. But this is an opportunity for you to become aware of it now. And then what do you do after that? What is the behavior? What do? You see a trigger, you have a feeling, you have internal dialogue in the form of a thought, then you act on it. What do you do? Do you dump the items? Do you stash it? Do you hide it? What do you do with the behavior? And then number 5, I realized I forgot to say them with the numbers. Number 5, what is the payoff? What instant benefit do you get from doing this? You get relief. Phew. Okay, I don't have to deal with this right now. You get avoidance. You get comfort, right? But number 6 is, what is it costing you? What is it costing you? Time, your time now, your future time, money. It's costing you your peace because, again, it's opening up a tab in your mind to say, hey, we still have to deal with that, by the way. Might be costing you relationships. If there's resentment in your home, that could be detrimental. And your health. How is it costing your health? Also, resentment can also negatively impact your health as well. So there's a couple ways to kind of bypass this. So again, number 1, trigger. Number 2, feelings. 3, thought. 4, behavior. 5, payoff. 6, cost. So let's talk about a couple replacement ideas, okay? The 10-second interrupt. It's a physical cue or a phrase that you can do when the trigger happens and you feel the emotion and it's a thought, okay? So if the internal dialogue comes in and you're like, I'm just going to put it here for now, you can stand up and you can clap, okay? And you can say, no, I don't put it down. I put it away, okay? Or, we're not parking this here. We're going to decide now. If this is funny and I'm calling myself out on this, my son came home with the school calendar for all of the PD days. And I keep moving it from one area to the next, saying, oh my gosh, it's one single piece of paper. I can't throw it out because I have to put all that stuff on my phone. And I have to put all that stuff on my phone. And typically I say I don't have time for that. I'll do it later. And that one single piece of paper is taking up a lot of space in my head because I know I have to do it. The cost if I don't do it, I've sometimes forgot to put PD days in my calendar and it cost me full days of work. That's not a good feeling for all parties. So have a physical cue or phrase. You can snap your fingers, you can clap, you can make a dance, like whatever it is, interrupt the pattern, and then have something that you say to yourself like, no, I'm gonna do it now. Whatever works for you. And then have one daily surface rule, okay? Choose one visible surface to reset every single day. For me, I really love to have a clear front entryway as well as my desk, although my desk isn't always in that rule, but that feels good for me. So have every single day, have one visible surface to reset daily, okay? It could be your desk. And the majority of the time, my desk is clutter-free, except for the things that I'm going to be working on the next day. Maybe that's a notebook, a pen, a highlighter, and a book, and my laptop. It could be your counters, although the majority of people have cluttered counters. So if that's you and you are citing yourself on trying to clear the counter, but you're just not that person to have clear counters and focus on a different area, maybe it could be your nightstand. And set a 5-minute timer, maximum 10 every single day to keep those clear, and it'll begin to ripple into other areas of your life, okay? So that's your clutter map. We'll build it together in the masterclass, and I'll give you the printout to help. And if you want it now, go ahead and click the link in the show notes to sign up for the masterclass. And as you do, you will get an automated email with all the information for the masterclass as well as the free clutter pattern map, okay? So I hope that this episode has been helpful for you. There's so much more that I feel like I could talk about, but I feel like I've given you enough to work on for the day. my my advice to you is to just start becoming aware. Becoming aware of your habits, becoming aware of your triggers, becoming aware of the emotions that happen after the trigger, and become aware of the internal dialogue that then causes you to take a behavior. And ask yourself, what is this costing me? And if you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't know where to start, I'm going to suggest two things. Number one, sign up for the masterclass that I'm hosting, the hidden reasons you can't stay clutter free. That's happening on October 2nd. And number two, you can book a free strategy session. Again, link is in the show notes. We can go over first of all, why you booked the call. What are you hoping to achieve? How long has this been a problem? What is your goal? And why is this important? Because if you don't know all of those things, then you're not going to be able to create change, at least long lasting change. And then we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. So go ahead, sign up now. Don't put it on your to-do list. Otherwise, you're just creating a new tab to sign up for the masterclass. So sign up for the masterclass, and I'll see you on October 2nd. And just remember, you don't need more bins, okay? You need a new pattern. So start small, stay kind to yourself, and I'll see you at the masterclass, okay? Thank you again so much for listening to another episode of the Transform Your Life podcast. If you found this episode to be helpful, send it to a friend and leave a review because that would mean the world to me. And if you aren't already, come hang out with me on Instagram at _CassHenry, or if you're on Facebook or TikTok, find me there as well. Anyways, I'm sending you so much love and gratitude, and I can't wait to see you next week on the podcast and on October 2nd for the masterclass. Okay, bye.